Normally you think innovation, AI, Silicon Valley, technology, all that kind of stuff. Today we're going to talk about a church car park.
What I love about him is that he's wanting to, leave a legacy, to encourage a younger team to step up, learn from him, but also bring the whole congregation along this journey.
Welcome to PEP Talk, the show for people who are purpose empowered. Are you a purpose empowered person, Salā?
Yes, I am today and every day. So, Tārawhalawa and good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Aotearoa Simon Young.
I'm Salā Marie Young.
Awesome. And today we're talking about innovation. Do you love innovation?
Yes, I do.
We love innovation. We love business. Today, our story is a little bit outside of the normal area where you hear the word innovation. Normally you think innovation, AI, Silicon Valley, technology, all that kind of stuff. Today we're going to talk about a church car park.
Church and car park. Innovation
happens everywhere. So our client that we worked with was the EFKS Sandringham. Now, what does EFKS stand for?
So Ekalesia Whalapotonga Ka Kirisiano Samoa.
Yeah. In English, that is the Congregational Christian Church of Samoa in Sandringham. And so in the congregational church, each church is autonomous and it's got its own pastor and its board, that sort of thing. And so we were approached by this church for several years. They've been thinking about their car park. They've been thinking about other ways that they can earn income and take the burden off their church parishioners.
Which is something that is happening quite a lot.
Yes.
There's like this intergenerational transfer, if you like, of change at the post or at the guard.
Yes.
Whether it's just the one leader or you've got a whole older generation, as you say, right?
Yeah,
so really forward thinking from the Reverend.
Absolutely, yeah. So and really a little unusual for what people's stereotypes of church might be. So it's really encouraging to have this kind of thinking coming to us. So like we said, they've been thinking about it for a few years, but they didn't quite know where to start. And that's where we come in. On the surface, our job seemed quite simple. Just be a matchmaker of the church with some of the companies that provide the service around car parks. That is payment systems, that is enforcement. So if somebody comes in and parks and doesn't pay, they'll get a breach letter, all that kind of stuff. There's a few companies that do that, but we ended up going with what company we
went with Stella. So you can see this. All this information is online, and we want to thank the Reverend for giving us permission to share this, because this is what it's all about: is sharing and caring, but also being able to actually encourage those who are in a similar situation. If you are a Reverend, or you're looking at X amount of time, because there's there's a particular time frame that the Reverend will be the minister for church.
He's not in there forever.
It's not in there forever. So what I love about him is that he's wanting to leave a legacy, to encourage a younger team to step up, learn from him, but also bring the whole congregation along this journey.
Yes, absolutely. So Stella is one of the smaller players, but definitely we found one of the most responsive. And that was so important.
Great,
it was so important. They've got like a nationwide network of car parks in different churches and public areas and council areas. But we found them very flexible and very patient.
Really understanding, attentive, flexible, and just beautiful, lovely manner, right? So that's what you're looking for when you're wanting partnerships, is that people that are not wanting to just come and usurp their authority or power or sort of like, this was not like them at all.
Not at all, We did speak to some other companies and they were like, this is our standard package. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. Very hard to get hold of. Not very responsive, so the opposite. So really great. Isn't it lovely when you find wonderful partners? That they all come together, they want to do the right thing, they bring beautiful values.
Definitely.
To share, and principles to live by, breathe by, and actually apply in our partnership, collaboration.
And so what was the value that PEP brought to this engagement? Like, we did the matchmaking, but also we did a few other things, right?
Yeah, I think it's being able to be respectful, professional, but also, we are recognizing that, that we are effectively listening. It's really important for us to listen, because if we don't listen, we won't really understand. And if we don't understand, we're probably not going to get the project right from the start. So foundational to us is, some of the values that we hold to. So our services, going the extra mile, being able to really be that sort of trusted advisor to not only to do a lot of due diligence, but also being able to then even spend time with the partner or the potential partner, so that it's a really good match for our client.
100%.
So it's not just about our client. Yes, it's about our client, but we also do as much work and as much background work, so that we are then take time to actually then, just as much time that we spend with our client, we actually want to spend as much to choosing the right potential partner for the client. And that takes a lot of understanding, learning about their business, doing our due diligence, being able to actually meet with them as well, go through a series of questions. So there's relationship, it sounds really amazing now that it still is amazing, but we really want to warn you that if you want to go down this route, you've got to invest a lot of time in relationships, and there's no shortcut, and it's not always going to go well, but we actually learn from it, right? So it's really understanding that I think this is the right partner for the client.
Definitely, and that relationship focus, that's kind of a feature of a lot of indigenous cultures, eh?
Relationality is something that all Pacific cultures have in common. Our values as respect, wha'aloalo, things like being able to have consensus, or autasi, swallow pule, is being able to actually being able to share or talanoa, not just for the sake of it, but talanoa to be able to actually then reach a consensus-based decision-making process. Alofa, love, compassion, being able to actually serve, and tautua, service. These things that we hear a lot about, but these are some of the attributes that come through. Sometimes, these nuances just come because of the way that we've been brought up. The way that we approach when someone comes to your home, when you provide hospitality, it's the same approach in the way that we serve our clients and our partners and stakeholders, etc.
That's cool, and it's really good for people like me who haven't been raised in a traditional culture to understand where that's coming from, because sometimes we feel uncomfortable, like what if we do something wrong, and I guess when we look at the way that Stella handled themselves, it wasn't that they knew everything about how to deal with the Samoan culture, but they had just a respectful demeanour. Their intent was good.
They were wonderful to deal with. And I think it's just having sometimes an open mind. And when you have an open mind and you come into a collaboration, you start to catch, so you learn by doing, you learn by observing. Okay, so I address the Reverend this way. It's because it's out of respect.
That's right.
But we were also able to have raise questions and concerns. It's not like we were just like, just always being respectful for the sake of it.
That's right. That's right. Respect has to be balanced up with truthfulness and transparency and those kind of
being
things.
Being constructive, but in a respectful way.
That's right.
So I think whether you're Pasifika, Samoan or Palangi, when we come into this context of what we're sort of saying, is the fact that the partner was just the Stella. That they were just open-minded, and they were very flexible. They weren't coming in and saying, sorry, this is how we got to do it. This is how we roll.
That's right.
They were willing to learn. They were willing to listen, and we were all doing that. So that then just only ends in a beautiful relationship, right? Great partners, and it has the spirit of collaboration. Definitely. And it just makes the work pure joy. And everybody's just getting on with it. And if there's questions, we stop and ask questions. We want to understand.
And it's good to have diversity of voices around the table. So the church had a very good lawyer who was very much a protector.
Yes.
She wasn't going to let anyone damage or even damage the reputation, especially of this church. And so that was a really conservative voice, like very cautious, whereas we as the outside consultants were bringing in possibilities. We were saying, so I guess the lawyer was saying, what if the worst thing happened? We were saying, what if the best thing happened? And somewhere in the wholeness of all of that was the truth, the way forward.
And that's exactly, and it shouldn't be any less than that. Absolutely. You welcome the as we mentioned before, did I mention the risk, being able to actually, it's not just like something that they've just thought of and just do, as it's something that they've been thinking about for years and years, because because reputation, because you've got the parishioners, you've got the stakeholders, you've got partners, you've got the vicinity, the area in which they serve is also a business area as well, and they've been there for years, so they've built up beautiful wealth of relationships there as well. So it's a lot of a lot of people externally, but also internally, and you've got your elders, you've got your constitution, you've got the board, and then you've got the trustees, and then the congregation to bring along on this journey, which I felt they did really well. Really
well, absolutely. So super excited. Lots of lessons for cross-cultural businesses, which is everybody these days, because there's so many different cultures, even in just our small city of Auckland. What would be your main piece of advice to Pacific business people or people running an organisation when they're dealing with Balangis?
Well, I think I think there's some amazing businesses and Pacific enterprise organisations, agencies, whether you're for-profit, not-for-profit, social enterprise, a limited liability company, big, medium and small. The other thing to actually, before I answer your question, is that most of New Zealand's economy is actually backed by small and medium businesses to begin with. Yes, you've got your top, I don't know what you call them, top four? Top
big companies.
You've got your big companies, but there's more small to medium companies that is the backbone of New Zealand's economy. So I think it really comes back down to how you position and how the foundation of the business is. But I think for us is that we try to bring as much of our faith, our belief, and also our culture, our multicultural perspective. And I think it also really helps to bring all of us, our whole selves, our whole lived experience, our whole cultural values in the centre of how we approach. And it's also just and having an open-mindedness. I think it's not being able. I'm not saying, well, you've got to learn how to say Samoan words or Pacific words, or you need to have a really in-depth understanding of the culture. Sometimes it's just having an open mind, just like this particular partner. And so we're really thrilled and privileged to be able to serve not only the Reverend and his young team and their congregation. So really looking forward to when all the signs go up, and when they start to see some assistance coming in as well, to financial, but also being able to for the Reverend to set this up for a legacy and to prepare for the intergenerational transition that's happening, not just within this particular church, but also up and down the country. We've got different demographic coming up, an aging demographic, and most of our mums and dads are in their 70s and 80s, right? But just an open mind, and coming back to how you started your business, what you've decided to actually make as your values to live by, breathe by. Is it something that you're passionate about? And I think it just brings a lot of flavour into the world. So we're not, being all the same is boring, but being able to bring a little bit of our cultures, lived experience, just makes hopefully business and the way that we communicate and the way that we solve problems in the business space just that much more special.
Awesome, that's cool. And so you've kind of covered this already, but if I would advise other Balangis in terms
what would you say?
How to deal with Pacific people, or actually any other culture, when we were in the China space, there's sort of rules like always hand your business card with both hands, that sort of thing. It's possible to do that, to get the outward things right, but to not have the inner side right. And the most important thing is, even if you don't know the language, if you don't know much about the culture, if your attitude is right and open, and also if you reflect on your own culture, what are your own cultural values, what is your background, that sort of thing, because probably the biggest thing about almost every other culture except for Western culture is that it's relational. If I know that you have a family, if I know that we are connected somehow, then there's a bit more trust. If you're just a random anonymous person, then why should I trust you, kind of thing. Yeah, but if we're in the same neighborhood, for example, we have something in common. And I think that's at the heart of Māori culture, it's at the heart of Samoan culture. Yes, also the heart of Asian cultures as well. Like I say, pretty much everything except for that Western European kind of culture that I've come from. So be willing to be relational, and then you'll learn along the way. You don't need to study everything up front, because it's impossible to know everything you need to know in the moment. Just live.
Yeah, wonderful. And just from because you're front and center. This is sort of, you've been working with the Reverend. What is something that you would like to take away that you thought has really reinforced what you're talking about, sharing about today?
I think sometimes it can be really good to be an outsider, because traditional Samoan culture says that there's God and then there's the pastor, which is actually, it's a pedestal to put somebody on, and it's an expectation that that person knows everything. And they don't teach business management at Bible college. They don't teach governance necessarily. They teach how to do a good sermon and how to counsel somebody. And so a lot of spiritual leaders have this great burden on them and this great expectation from their people that they know the way forward. And so to be of a different culture I think it's been quite refreshing for the Reverend, because he wants to try a different approach. And so if you are finding yourself being coming across a different culture, that can be a real advantage for you, because you can bring a different perspective, different point of view, some things you may not know about, and maybe that's a good thing, because you can bring that freshness.
And what are some of the real simple things that just be mindful of as a Pālangi when you're dealing with Reverend and his team?
I think respect is key. I've been in the Samoan culture for so long that I've internalized some of those things. Even the physicality of when you pass by somebody who's older or more senior, you physically lower yourself.
And what does tulo mean?
It literally sort of translates to excuse me, but it's much more profound than that, because some of the speeches of Matai start with tulo as in a greeting. So it's much more than just excuse me or sorry. It's more like making yourself small and making the other person high. Yeah,
that's wonderful. So that's really nice too, because it's been, you've been working with the Reverend from day one, so and you still are.
Love working with Reverend Featuna'i, and looking forward to the other initiatives that they want to roll out, but slowly but surely, and this is the first of many exciting things for the church. And we're open for business as well. If you're in a traditional organization and you're looking to innovate, and you're looking for people who understand cultural intelligence, not only with Samoan culture, but these are quite transferable principles, then please talk to us. We're open to your conversation. pep.nz/contact. We'd love to talk to you.
In the meantime, keep up the awesome work, and thank you again for tuning in and subscribing. Until then, Pasui Fua.
Pasui Fua.